So today we're going to talk about where to start reading because somebody in my stream asked me where they should start, how they should get into things. So I picked a bunch of different genres. I tried to pick short books and ones that have a lot of bang for your buck because when you first start reading, it might not make sense why you're doing it. But if you can find a book that you really resonate with, that you really enjoy, it might make it a whole lot more enjoyable and, something that you stick with. So first thing, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, one of the best books ever written. If you haven't read this, I really urge you to. Has a very simple story. Not simple in the fact that, obviously it's very imaginative, but, it follows a very set path, a very symbolic myth that is repeated time and time again. Faust, the idea of selling your soul, that sort of theme is in here. Very simplistic story, talks about the coming of technology and is technology worth it. A very fitting theme for today and the modern age of AI and sentient sort of technology, we can say, but don't get bogged down in the themes. This is a really good story, something that's cited time and time again as one of the greatest works of all time, and it's a very enjoyable, very fun read. You'll get the symbolism, and it will just overall just impact you in a positive way. Next thing we have is The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is really the precursor to the Lord of the Rings series. It was first written as a story to his children, so it is written in a very friendly style. Very short book. I don't know how many pages it is in this copy. 300 pages, not something that's going to really take you all that much time, especially because it's written so simply, but very condensed story. You'll fly through it and you'll have a whole lot of fun reading it. And interestingly enough, it's written at a higher level than the New York Times is now. But when this was written, it was written at a very low level of literacy. So it shows you that we're failing as a society and we're failing as individuals in the terms of the intellectual space. But yeah, very good tale, very fun, very quick read, and you're going to get a whole lot of enjoyment out of it. You can even read it to your kids or, just read it for yourself. The next thing we have is The Book of Five Rings by Miyamoto Musashi. Very, very, very short work. And the reason I'm suggesting this is because this is actually one of the first things that I sat down to read when I first started. I don't know if you say get into reading, because I never really read as an adult, or get back into reading because I did used to read a lot as a child, but whatever you want to say it. A few years ago, I was getting back into reading, and I picked this book up, and I found a whole lot of stuff in it. It's simply put a story about strategy in terms of battle, but really about the depth of life, because Miyamoto Musashi says something along the lines of, when you see the way, you see it in all things. So essentially, when you master one skill, when you master one facet of life, then you master all of them, because everything in some sort of way is the same. And it transcends from a book about how to win a sword fight to how to win at life, how to understand the ebb and flow of stuff. And it very much reminds me of Heraclitus in some of its reasoning, and very much of the Tao Te Ching in some of its philosophy and parables. And yeah, there's just a whole lot of stuff in this book. Very short book, and it's truly one of a kind in its brevity and in its depth. And I think it's something that, if you are looking to get into reading, it's certainly a place where I would start. Next thing we have is Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Again, very short book. I think it's 110 pages, somewhere around there, and it talks about the depth of existence. Why are we here? What is the point of life? And essentially, Viktor Frankl's idea is that once you have hope, once you have purpose, then you have meaning for life. And Viktor Frankl is somebody who went through some of the worst of humanity. 1940s work camp, we'll say. That's all we'll say. But essentially, he was able to find hope and find purpose and find faith in some of the worst of life, and it really just puts things into perspective. It gives you a perspective on life that you'll be able to go out and capture, and go out and fight, and go out and really find out what it means to live life. And it's one of those works that you read and it'll stick with you for all of your life. And I think it really has a whole lot to offer, and that's why I put it here, because it's a short work, not too complex, not too philosophically deep, and something that you're gonna have to think about. It's all right there. It's all right in front of you, and that hope, that inspiration is going to hit you like a truck, and it's going to stick with you. And hopefully inspire you to read more, hopefully inspire you and show you what a book can give you, show you the lessons that you can learn from life just simply through reading someone else's ideas. And yeah, truly one of those books that I think you have to read at some point, and yeah, I think you're going to get a whole lot of enjoyment from it. Next thing is How to Win Friends and Influence People, and this is the only self-help book. I don't know if you consider the other books self-help. I don't know what self-help the genre is. It kind of bleeds into other genres, whether it's philosophy, whether it's religion, whether it's spirituality. It kind of blurs all over. But this one is certainly self-help, and I think it's one of the better self-help books. There's a lot of bad self-help books and ones that are just redundant and ones just that give you basic advice. And there's a place for that. There's some people in this world that need basic advice. I was one of those people at one point in my life, and if you find some helpful aspect in a book, it doesn't matter about if you got scammed or this or that. Like, if the book made you feel better and made you do a little bit better in your life, it was well worth the cost. And this one is certainly one of those that is well worth the cost. I don't know how much practicality it has for people that are already fairly good at communicating, but there are some little things that'll help you really push yourself ahead, really put your best foot forward. And this book simplifies communication, especially in a day and age where there is lacking communication skills. Just the little things that are going to help you have those soft skills. So, when you are meeting somebody, learn their name and remember to say their name, because the person's favorite word in the dictionary is their name, because they associate it with themselves. So if you can repeat somebody's name, if you can say somebody's name through the course of conversation, then you can immediately build rapport with them. And it's little things like this. Learn how to say things nicely instead of say things negatively. So, you see somebody that's doing something in a way that doesn't make any sense, and instead of going to them and scolding them and telling them how much of an idiot they are, you go to them and you say, "Why'd you do it this way? I usually do it this way. Does that save you time?" And through the course of you showing them the more efficient way, you basically showed them how to actually do it instead of yelling at them. And it's little things like this that we can semantically just have a better way to talk to people, have a better way to convince people, how to make people see things for themselves instead of telling them what to do. And one of the things that struck me most from this book is to never argue with somebody, because what good does it do to argue with somebody? How does it in any way benefit you? How does it in any way help you? Think if you win the argument, now you have a person that resents you. If you lose the argument, you lost the argument. And it's like, it's never good to impart your way onto people. It's always the best to show through your example. It's that Gandhi quote: be the change you want to see in this world, be the inspiration that people see and want to replicate. You can never impart what you want onto somebody. You can only hope that they take the reins and direct themselves in the right direction. And yeah, hopefully this was a nice fun list, a nice easy list. Even if you have still, or even if you are already reading, maybe I would say pick up these books. These are pretty essential books, and I think these books have a lot to offer. And yeah, hopefully at the very least I gave you some things to go look up and some things to maybe go read. And yeah, with that said, I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. Support has been insane, and I don't know what else to say aside from thank you. So I love you guys. Peace out. I'll catch you next one.